What's up, y'all? Prod Eddie here. We're back, day 4, 30-day handstand challenge. Today we're going to talk about body shapes. We already kind of talked about leg shapes, but we're going to talk about hollows and arches. What's ideal, what's not, when to use them, when not to. Let's get into it. So, we know our leg shapes. We got tuck, straddle, and then the pike with our legs straight. We also have our body shape in the handstand. We have hollows here. Hollow surface in front of us. Have that hollow surface in front of us. And then we also have an arch. Here we have that big arch in our back. It's typically thought that hollows are the best shape for your body to be in if you're working on balancing in a handstand, right? So what that means is that instead of having your spine be arched, right, like this, you want it to be stacked, right, in this hollow position. Notice how my spine is pretty straight, pretty neutral right here, rather than here where you're gonna have to rely on working with your legs a little bit more. So let's get into the handstands with some warm-up time. As we all know, warm-up is the most important part. We're gonna warm up those wrists so that we can have some good handstands. Continue to practice for the next 30 days. 26, I guess. All right, fingers forward. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna try some here. Dude, sick. Hope this works. Okay, fingers forward. We're rocking over them. Really putting pressure into those fingertips. One way to think about that, or like cue it, is like you're gripping something, right? You're really trying to grip onto the ground, squeeze it. As you're rocking over. And this applies not just to warming up the wrists, but in the handstand as well. Okay, now we've got fingers out, rocking over them again. We're squeezing that ground, really gripping it, getting a big old handful. Pause. You know what I'm saying? Okay. You know what I just realized we forgot? Wrist circles. Warming them up with some wrist circles. Interlace them. Alright, now we've got fingers towards us. Oh wow, this feels so fucking good today. Crazy. Oh. Shake it out. Maybe roll those wrists out again. Now we've got palms down. I like to start facing in. When you're doing this, don't just like limp wrist it, right? Like really try to push those back of those palms, the back of those hands into the ground. Almost had a stroke right there, dude. That's crazy. Oh. Okay. Palms forward. Feels good out here today. Smoke is starting to clear from the air, finally. Thank God. All right, palms down, facing away from us here. Remember guys, when we're going palm down, really try to be gentle with this. Definitely do not go as hard as when we were putting the palms down. Feel like I fucked that up. You know what I'm saying. Anyway, part 1 of the warm-up complete. All right, you guessed it guys, part 2 of the warm-up, cartwheels. Really trying to drill those, get them good. We're gonna do 5 on each side. Turns out that does not work all that great when we're doing cartwheels. Part 2, the warm-up, all good. All right, guys, last part of the little warm-up here. You got 5 tucks in each shape. Really try to practice on gripping the ground, just like we were doing yesterday. Finding that little sweet spot in between pushing hard with your fingers and with your palms, just kind of gripping onto it. Ready, here we go. Starting with tucks. Sweet, those went really well. Let's do straddles. That wasn't exactly a rock up, but we're gonna count it. Two, 3, 4, 5, 'Alright, we got pikes next. Always the hardest when we're doing rock ups, because it puts a lot of our mass behind us. So we tend to just fall down. But we're gonna just give it a little try here. Really think about keeping those shoulders extended All right. I guess elevated. All right, you don't want to start kind of doing this thing really strong, pushing the earth away from you, okay? All right, pikes. One, two, three, 4, 5. All right, guys, that's it for the warm-up. Now we're gonna get into hollows, arches, when to use them, what's good, what's not. All right, guys, now we're gonna get into our hollows and our arches. Typically, when we're trying to balance in one place, it's best to be in this hollow here, right? Shoulders stacked over, wrists stacked over our elbows, stacked over our shoulders, spine's neutral, pelvis is posteriorly tilted, right? Not too much, right? We're not trying to like this, but just enough that we're engaging that core, keeping the lower abdomen, hips tight, pointing those toes when we're up in the air, keeping the legs straight. And that's how we get this good handstand shape. If we're trying to walk, it's a little bit better to be in an arch, because then you got your legs kind of behind you and you can balance better and have your momentum going forward. So to do this and play around with this, we're just gonna do 3 tuck ups, straddle ups, pike ups, while trying to maintain that hollow. And then we're going to do 3 of the same thing, trying to really be in an arch. I would say that when you're first starting your practice, it doesn't really matter what the shape is, as long as you know what shape you're in while you're there, right? So if you're just kind of focusing on your wrists and your hands and your shoulders, and your legs are kind of doing whatever, and your spine is doing whatever, not great. But if you can balance better in an arch for now, that's fine. If you can balance better in a hollow right now, more power to you. I'm gonna turn this way so it's a little bit easier for you guys to see and for me to know if I'm doing it right when I watch this back. Find some flat ground here. All right, so now tuck ups, trying to maintain that good hollow shape. If you can't really do this too well, it's no big deal. We're gonna do some wall drills, and I'll kind of show you the difference between the arch and the hollow when we do those, okay? So here we go. Count that as 1.5, or we'll count that as a half. There we go, there's 1. Oh. I think that's probably more of an arch. So we'll do that again. There we go, there's a good spot on the ground. Oh. Count those 2 as 1. Oh. And 3. All right, guys. Now we're gonna do that straddle entry. Really trying to keep that tuck. 1. 2. Can't tell if I said tuck or hollow. Feel like I said tuck. Straddle entry, really trying to keep that hollow. Last one. Nice. All right. Pike entry, keeping that hollow body. Here we go. We're gonna count that one. Shake it out. Roll those wrists out. Like I said in the earlier videos, guys, remember, for the skill practice, the goal isn't to really do them back to back to back to back and have this be a super intense workout. That's what the conditioning is for. The goal is to just take your time and get high quality reps. We're only doing 3, so the goal is that since we're doing low volume, the intensity and the quality of each rep can be closer to 100%. All right. All right. Last one for the pikes. We're just gonna count that. All right, now we're working on trying to find that arch shape. I think this is probably a little bit easier for most people, just because you don't have to really think about doing it. It can just kind of like naturally happen as long as you don't focus on keeping that hollow. I think the hollow is a lot more something that is intentional. Still try to be intentional about this, but yeah, it should come a little bit easier than the hollows here. All right, ready? Tuck into that arch with the tuck up. There's one. Another thing that's kind of hard about the arch is that if you really want to be able to balance in it, you kind of have to retract your shoulders a little bit and really flex, or retract your scapula and flex those shoulders. They're going to be almost a little bit behind you, just to keep your center of gravity over your base of support, you know. All right, number 2. Oh, guess not. Oh, there you go. It's 2. 3. This felt okay. We're gonna head into the straddles now. Go. All right, couple more. As you can see, those are a lot harder to hold when you're trying to balance in one place. But there is a purpose to the madness, because tomorrow we're going to try walking. Oh, there we go. It's a pretty good one. All right, pikes. This one's gonna be hard, guys, so don't be too hard on yourself. Just count whatever reps are decent. One. Two. And last one. As a tuck. One more pike. Oh, hells yeah. Okay, guys, conditioning is up next. We've got abs and a couple wall drills. All right, y'all, we've got abs conditioning and then a couple wall drills. For this, got my handy dandy Tabata timer here. We're still doing 20 seconds on, 40 seconds off, that 1-to-2 work rest ratio. And today we're doing what I have affectionately called hot dog rollers. So, how this is gonna go, so we're gonna start in that nice hollow body hold. We're gonna roll to the side, keeping our shoulders and legs off the ground. Then we're gonna roll on to our stomachs, keeping again our legs and our shoulders off the ground. One more roll onto the side. Oh God. Before another roll onto the back. All right. So take that in for a second. Here we go. 7, 6, 5. Ready, set. Go. And break. Really important to try to find some flat ground for this, guys. I can't lie. It is incredibly hard to do on this little bit of a slant, especially when I'm trying to go up the slant. Also, if you're on the grass, highly would recommend a shirt. My back, stomach are going to be super itchy for a while. Ready? Go. And break. Couple more rounds. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Break. All right. 2 more rounds left to go, guys. Good job. If you can, try to really control those rolls and not go super, super fast. It's okay to go a little fast, but you don't necessarily want to be using too much momentum to do the roll. You want that to be shoulder strength, core strength, glute strength. Really trying to figure out how you get those things to move in synchronicity. 3, 2, 1, go. Break. 1 more. Then we're going to do a couple wall drills. These aren't necessarily conditioning. We're not going to take 5 minutes each on them, but we'll probably end up doing like 2.5 minutes. I'm going to have to move inside because obviously there's no wall out here. Five seconds of rest left. 3, 2, 1, go. break. Nice job, guys. I'm gonna head inside. We can do those wall drills, and then I'll probably end up filming tomorrow's session today because I'm about to go on a nice little trip. I want to make sure that I get about a week's ahead just so that there's no complications like there was with that first video, okay? See you inside. All right, y'all, so to demo these wall drills, first we're gonna start by walking up the wall with our stomach to the wall, really trying to get in that hollow body hold, right? I think this is a good way to practice doing that hollow. And then when we're talking about the arch, we're gonna kick up and try to find the wall with the back of our feet with our heels. And that's a good way to practice the arch. So just to kind of show you what I mean here, I'm gonna use my door. Hopefully it doesn't break. I am kind of a fat ass. Gonna come here. Walk out. Point the toes. Engage the core. Alright, engage the hips. Stack the ribs. Push through those shoulders, grip the floor. Try to hold that for as long as you can, okay? And then we're going to do kind of the opposite, and instead of walking our feet up, we're just going to kick up. And that way we'll kind of be in more of an arch. Alright, so here we go. So here, ribs flared. Oh. One more time here. So here we've got the ribs flared, hips flared, back extended. Kind of have to be in an arch to maintain this position. If I were to try to go into a hollow, right, I'd have to kick my feet a little bit over myself. Try to find that balance. So, with that being said, play around with that for about 2.5 minutes on each side. So, with that being said, we're gonna play around with that. We're gonna do 2.5 minutes hollow holds, 2.5 minutes. I just realized that for some reason it stopped recording like halfway through that. So it did end up getting the arch. One portion of it anyway. Hopefully you guys can understand that when you're in that arch, or begin to understand when you're in that arch, that would be beneficial for walking, right? Because your legs are kind of going over you, and how in that hollow it'd be really beneficial for just staying still in one place, or at least falling safely, because you're gonna just end right back up on your feet. Otherwise, we are going to work on walking in the next one. And thanks for training with me. Appreciate you guys. Make sure you subscribe, hit that bell so you know when the next episode drops. Otherwise, see you on the next one.